Hey everybody, Scott Sorensen here, and this is the How to Bounce a Ball on Your Head video. Step one is to properly balance a club on your head. Forehead, actually, not on your chin. So when you first learn to juggle, lots of people will learn how to juggle, how to balance a club on your chin, because it seems like the easiest place to go. Your eyes are looking at it, and you can see your pattern, and everything's looking in the same direction. Well, you're not bouncing a ball on your chin, you're bouncing it on your head. So you have to relearn how to balance on your head. And it feels like relearning because now your eyes are looking back at the club, not forward. And so if you're balancing and juggling, you have two different places that you have to pay attention to at the same time. So at first it's going to feel backwards. So your corrections, left and right, up and down, are going to feel upside down from your chin at first. So when you can balance the club on your head and be really comfortable, like you could go into a Simon Says competition with it, maybe squat down, stand on one leg, to the point where you're bored with it, then we're ready to bounce a ball. Okay, it's finally time to get to work. What I'm using here is a Sasaki rhythmic gymnastics ball. This is actually a child's weight. The markings on here are M20C. I have several of these balls, regardless of whatever numbered stamp on here. Sasaki's M20C is the lightweight child's. It's not regulation weight, so it's not so hard on your neck. A regular rhythmic gymnastic ball is that's a lot heavier. But I feel I have a lot of good control. Slightly deflated. I have a little bit of give on here, just enough so I can still spin the ball. If it was a little more inflated, it'd probably bounce off my finger. But I like the Sasakis, they're nice and round. The inner bladder is like a tennis ball shape. It's not like two halves of rubber. So these are really good. I have a bunch of I've tried other playground balls and other things that might be smaller. Those are good, really good for juggling and bringing in and out of a pattern. This is probably the biggest one that I'd want to do because it can get in the way visibly. All right, so now this is the type of ball. Let's get to work. What we're going to do here is we're going to take our ball and we're going to put one bounce onto the head and then back off into our hands. Just like when you're learning how to juggle and you throw a ball from one hand to the next. We're starting with one ball, we're starting with one bounce. All right, so my feet are going to be slightly wider than my hips and my knees are going to be bent. And the bouncing is going to come from my legs, down here. It's not coming from my neck and it's not coming from my shoulders. It's coming down here from my legs, specifically my thighs, and I'm going to feel it there, and you're going to feel control with your calves. So I want to throw it up to my head while I'm looking back, and then I'm going to bounce it back out to my hands. All right, it's going to look like that. It's just simple. You want it straight out in front. So you're going to keep doing this until your first bounce is straight out in front, and you get a sense of how not to hit it off to the side like that. You want to be straight. Next, when you've got the one, you're going to add one bounce up and then back out. You're going to go up, out, like that, up, out. And those are pretty high bounces. That's like a foot high, up, out. But you're starting out with a nice high so you can get control of it. You can see exactly what you're doing. As you might have suspected, I'm going to have you add one bounce at a time. Back off, on, and then back off. So you're going to go 1, 2, back off, and keep building that up until you get to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And when you've gotten to 10 and you haven't chased it around, don't count it unless you've got your feet planted and you've been using your legs to do the bouncing. When you can get to that, stop and make it harder. So we're not going to keep trying to get to more than 10 until what we're going to do is we're going to ensure that your form is better. So to do that, we're going to sit down and make sure that you're using your backside, your legs, your glutes to pump up the ball with your head instead of your neck. So find yourself a chair or a hard table, and you're going to do the same thing where you go bounce up and out until you can get to 10. And then back off, sitting down. All right, once you've got 10 bounces standing up and 10 bounces sitting down, build up to 50. Now, it doesn't mean you have to go 11 bounces and then catch, and then 12 bounces and then bring it off and catch. That was to train you from avoiding bad habits, where in the beginning you go chasing after a ball way off to the side and keep running after it. So you don't run after it. You're training yourself to stay planted. That's why I would have you go bounce, 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 back off, and then add one and add one. But when you've done 10 here and you've done 10 sitting down, push yourself to get to 50 before we start throwing and catching. And that's only because that's the advice I got. And then once I got to 50, learning 3 clubs with the head bounce was a whole lot easier, because now the bounce, by the time you get to 50, instead of up here, your bounce is down here. And it's a little more comfortable. So when it comes to juggling while balancing, there's 2 schools of thought. One is to match the rhythm of the bouncing with the juggling, like bounce, throw, bounce, throw, bounce, throw. And the other one is to not have them completely 2 separate patterns that you're taking care of at the same time. Now, the first method is the quickest way to learn, but it also prevents you from doing lots of tricks and growing past that, because you're locked into making sure that your pattern matches. So you want to be able to break that habit. So we're going to start by learning to follow the bounce and to match our throws with it, but I'm going to show you how to break that so that you can get beyond just the 3 club cascade. And we're learning with clubs. It's the first thing you're going to throw and catch, because it has the biggest handle and you can see it because you're going to be watching the ball the whole time. So now you've got your 50 catches. I'm going to go bounce, throw, catch. Bounce, throw, catch. Bounce, throw, bounce, throw, bounce, throw, bounce, throw, bounce, throw, bounce, throw, bounce, throw. So match the bounce. The bounce is higher than I would normally use it, because this is what it's going to look like when you're learning. Not like this, where the bounces follow their own pattern. That's later. When you're first doing it, it's going to look like that. Bounce, throw, bounce, throw, bounce, throw, bounce, throw. Whereas your brain is way too busy, so you're going to try to make it all one thing. So it's going to feel like one thing. Bounce, throw, bounce, throw, bounce, throw. So after you've been able to juggle the 3 club cascade with the head bounce, and I don't mean master it, I mean juggle it and show it off to some other jugglers, or maybe use it as a trick, and you can do a cascade and you can gather. Now we got to work on the balls. Well, the first thing you're going to find is that you're probably throwing 3 balls too low, because you can't even see them. So you're going to have to throw them higher than you normally would. You got a smaller target, so it's a bit harder, but you're probably still going to be matching the rhythm. Now the next trick was, this comes from Anthony Gatto, on how to break the habit of having the one rhythm controlling everything, and that's the 3-ball shower. The thing about the 3-ball shower is it's asymmetrical. You're doing something different with both hands, and you have a different rhythm than the ball in your head. So it's like 3 different things going on at the same time. And when you can get that, then your head bounce is really going to improve. So there you have it. Those are the basics. Let's say you're having trouble with the 3 clubs cascade with the head bounce, and maybe you can't get past 6 catches. Try sitting down again and try to get 3 catches sitting down, and then bring it back up and then stand up and do it some more. Whenever you're stuck at one level, make that level harder, and then learn it, and then come back to that. Even though that means standing on one foot, sitting down, doing squats while doing it, finding a way to, you're developing different muscles and you're moving things differently, you're using your core differently, you're using your neck. Be patient with it. Don't push it too hard all at once. Otherwise you might find yourself waking up and not being able to move your neck in the morning. But keep working on it. It's great fun. This is one of the tricks where I get a huge audience reaction from the balls. People come up and have told me, literally, they did not think human beings could do that. And that's an amazing compliment to a juggler, when you did something they didn't think the human body was capable of doing. So it's fantastic. Keep working on it, and I'll see you next time. Bye.